Good morning, Al Roker here, and this winter is shaping up to be a memorable one. Grab your warmest coat and biggest snow shovel. Signs point to a cold, snowy season for much of North America. What's behind this change? Two big factors: a buildup of snow in the Arctic and Siberia, and a developing La Niña in the Pacific. These combine to create the perfect setup for a wild winter. We'll break down what this means for you, region by region. Expect more days with freezing temperatures and more chances for big snowstorms. Great news for snow lovers, but challenging for travel and daily life in many areas. My job is to help you stay safe and prepared, so let's look at where the coldest air and heaviest snow might hit. From the western mountains to the eastern cities, everyone will feel the effects. So, get comfortable and let's dive into what this winter has in store. This could be the kind of winter people talk about for years. We're not just talking about a few cold days. This pattern could last for months. Stay tuned as we break down the details and help you get ready. Here's what you can expect this season. Let's start up north, in the Arctic and Siberia, where a lot more snow than usual has fallen early this year. This snow acts like a giant white blanket, reflecting sunlight and making the air above it extremely cold and dense. This cold air forms a powerful dome that's growing and getting ready to move. Weather models show this dome shifting toward Alaska and northern Canada, setting the stage for major winter weather in North America. Last year we didn't see this much early snow or ice, but this year's early buildup is a clear signal. A colder winter is coming. This cold air mass is a key reason forecasters expect a more intense winter. When you hear about Arctic blasts or the polar vortex, this is where it all starts. The jet stream will push this heavy cold air south, and its path will determine which regions get hit hardest. The cold air is there, just waiting to move south, like a giant freezer door left open at the top of the world. This is the source of the frigid air that can plunge temperatures and bring snowstorms. The early snow and ice are big clues for what's ahead. The jet stream's path will be crucial in steering this cold air. Get ready for those Arctic blasts. They're coming from the far north. The stage is set for a winter that could be much colder than last year. Stay tuned as we track where this cold air will go next. Now let's talk about La Niña, a natural weather pattern in the Pacific Ocean. During La Niña, colder than normal water near the equator shifts wind patterns in the jet stream. This usually brings colder, stormier weather to the northern US and Canada, and drier, warmer weather to the south. This year's La Niña is weak but still important, especially early in the winter. It's expected to weaken by midwinter, making the storm track unpredictable, a real wild card. The early presence of La Niña helps steer cold Arctic air southward. There's also a pool of warm water in the North Pacific, adding extra energy and moisture to storms. As storms cross this warm water, they can become stronger and wetter. The combination of La Niña and warm Pacific water means an active storm track, especially for the Pacific Northwest. Expect a strong flow of storms across the country. Where you live will determine how La Niña affects your winter. It's a major factor in this season's forecast. Let's zoom in on the next few weeks. October is already showing signs of what's to come. A shot of cool air is moving across the country, clashing with lingering warmth and triggering strong storms, especially on the East Coast. Alaska is getting hit by a major storm, a sign of the active northern storm track. Snow is already falling in the mountains of Wyoming and the northern Rockies. Winter is starting in the high country. By week's end, cold air will dip into Montana and the Dakotas, bringing a real autumn chill. The Pacific Northwest is bracing for a strong storm system, with heavy rain on the coast and snow in the mountains. This pattern, frequent storms fueled by warm Pacific water, will repeat all winter. Ski resorts will love it, but cities like Seattle and Vancouver should expect lots of rainy days. Circle late October on your calendar. An early season chill could bring the first real taste of winter to much of the country. Time to get those coats out and check your furnace. This early cold shot is a strong clue that our winter forecast is on track. Now, let's focus on the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia. Get ready for a very active winter, with frequent storms bringing heavy rain to the coast and big snow to the mountains. The Cascade Mountains and British Columbia's peaks are likely to see deep snow packs. Great news for skiers and water supplies. European weather models show significant snow starting in early November and continuing all winter. Expect a cycle, a few days of rain and mountain snow, a brief break, then another storm. Travel over mountain passes like Snoqualmie could be tough, with frequent closures from heavy snow. Make sure your car is winter ready and you have an emergency kit. Alaska will also be in the path of these powerful Pacific storms, especially the southern parts. The jet stream is aimed at the Gulf of Alaska, pulling moisture from the ocean and dumping it on the region. The main story for the Northwest: wet, snowy, and classic La Niña. Stay updated on forecasts if you're traveling or planning outdoor activities. This pattern will be relentless, so be prepared for changing conditions. The Northwest will be one of the most active regions this winter. It's shaping up to be a season to remember. Now let's head south to the Southwest. Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. While the Northwest gets soaked, the Southwest will be much drier than normal. A classic La Niña effect. The storm track shifts north, so most storms miss this region, leaving less rain and snow. That's a concern for water supplies, as states like California and Arizona rely on winter snowpack. A dry winter could mean lower reservoirs and more drought worries next year. Expect more sunny days and above-average temperatures with only occasional cold snaps. The mountains will block most of the Arctic air, so big cold outbreaks are unlikely. The main story: fewer storms, less rain, and a need for water conservation. There's always a chance a storm could dip south, but those will be rare. For cities like Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Los Angeles, expect a milder, drier winter. Enjoy the outdoors, but keep an eye on water use. The Southwest's winter will be quiet compared to the rest of the country. Stay alert for any surprise storms, but overall, expect dry conditions. Now to the heart of the country, the Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, and Great Lakes. If you're in the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, or Michigan, get ready for a true old-fashioned winter. Cold Arctic air will clash with storms, bringing above-average snowfall and colder-than-average temperatures. The jet stream will dip over the central U.S., letting frigid air pour south. When storms move along this path, expect more snow than rain. Several big snowstorms are likely. The Great Lakes are unusually warm, so when Arctic air arrives, expect intense lake-effect snow. Cities like Buffalo and Erie should be on high alert for heavy snow bands. The Northern Plains will see long stretches of bitter cold, with dangerous wind chills. Bundle up and limit time outdoors. This winter will test your preparedness. Blowing snow and blizzard conditions could make travel very difficult. The combination of extreme cold and snow will be a challenge all season. This is the winter to be ready for anything. Stay tuned for updates as the storms roll in. Let's look at the Ohio Valley, southeast and east coast. This will be a major weather battleground. Cold Arctic air from the north will meet warm, moist air from the south, creating an active storm corridor. The southeast will likely be drier than normal, but surprise snow or ice storms are possible if Arctic air and a storm align. These events can be disruptive, especially where winter weather is rare. Further north, the Ohio Valley and interior northeast are set for significant winter storms. Nor'easters could bring heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and strong winds to cities from Cincinnati to Boston. The exact storm track will determine who gets snow and who gets rain. Every forecast will be a challenge. Big coastal cities like D.C., Philadelphia, and New York could see the rain-snow line shift right over them. A small change in a storm's path could mean a few inches of snow or a foot of heavy powder. At least one or two major snowstorms could hit these densely populated areas, causing major travel disruptions. The eastern half of the country should prepare for a very active winter. Stay alert for changing conditions and be ready for anything. It's going to be an interesting season from the south to the northeast. As we look ahead, all the ingredients are in place for a memorable, possibly record-breaking winter. The biggest story, that massive pool of Arctic air in the north. When and where it moves south will shape the season. We'll be tracking Arctic blasts closely, especially for the plains, Midwest, and Northeast. The storm track will be busy, with frequent storms across the northern U.S. The Pacific Northwest will see constant rain and mountain snow. The Midwest and Northeast will get frequent snowstorms. The Great Lakes are unusually warm, so the first major Arctic blast could trigger historic lake-effect snow. If you live downwind of the lakes, be ready for quick, intense snow events. The key: be prepared. This winter could be much colder and snowier than recent years. Make sure your home and car are ready and have a plan for major storms. Stay tuned to your local forecast for updates. We'll be here tracking every storm and keeping you informed. It's going to be a wild ride. Get ready for a winter to remember. That's your winter outlook. Stay safe and stay warm.